Hi, Sarah and Katie here from the Girls Like Rock 2 podcast. We've been doing a lot of episodes about celebrating different albums that have turned 20, 25, 30 this year. And it hit me, Katie, that Idlewild, who remembers Idlewild, their album 100 Broken Windows turned 25 this year, which just kind of hit me because this album, I really liked this album back in high school.
I remember you listening to it.
Yeah, I was like 15 when this came out.
I think you were introduced to them from The Wedge, that Much Music
Was it
show.
The Wedge?
I think so.
I was thinking about that. I'm like, how did I find out about Idlewild? Because they're pretty indie, especially at this time.
Yeah.
The Wedge, if you're from Canada, The
You
Wedge
might remember that.
was a super cool show on Much Music, which was Canada's MTV on like late Friday nights. And
It was on Friday night, like 11.
if you were like an indie kid or you were into like British guitar rock, like this was the show for you. I
Yeah.
thought it was like the coolest show.
Oh no, you were introduced to a lot of bands.
Yeah, you're
From
right.
The Wedge.
I think it
Idlewild
was
being
The
one of them.
Wedge. Yeah. Thank you to The Wedge, whoever produced that one.
Yeah.
Idlewild 100 Broken Windows, I always thought it was their debut album. It's actually not.
Oh.
They have an album before this, released in 98, Hope is Important. And Katie, I was listening to it. It is so different from 100 Broken Windows.
In a good way or like a
Well,
really experimental way?
It's like punk. It's like Blink 182 indie punk. Like
I'll
they're
have to listen to it.
screaming. Yeah, you might like it. It's so different from 100 Broken Windows. I was so surprised listening to it just a couple of times. I did like, though, I'll give a highlight. I'm Happy to Be Here Tonight and I'm a Message, track 6 and 8. If you're an indie kid like me, those two tracks were pretty good. And that
Okay.
hints at 100 Broken Windows. But it was just so interesting. It's like they totally changed. They just said F it and went a lot more indie rock.
Okay.
And I just find it interesting between that album and 100 Broken Windows. It's almost like you'd think there'd be an album or two in between those two albums.
Okay.
That makes
But
sense.
They're like, nope.
Yeah, they're like, we're just gonna go for it.
Okay.
So a lot less like in your face punk.
Yeah.
100 Broken Windows, a lot more about melody and like the stronger song structures.
Yeah.
And just the musical delivery and lyrics, like they did mature quite a bit with this album. And if you know Idlewild, I mean, they made a little bit of a name for themselves in the indie scene.
Yeah.
This album is just such a great indie album. And I know it's been noted that it's like one of the best indie albums. I went down the rabbit hole of like Reddit
Okay,
a couple of
yes.
times, and there was a few about
That
Idlewild.
can consume hours.
Yes, it can. Yeah. So I thought that was really cool. Marked a huge shift, as I mentioned. I just thought this was neat. The producer for 100 Broken Windows is Dave Aringa. Apologies if I'm mispronouncing that. So Dave produced Manic Street Preachers, this huge
classic.
band, and he produced This Is My Truth, Tell Me Yours, which is their big one from 1998.
Oh, you
with
stole the sun.
You
from
Stole
my
the Sun from My
heart.
Heart, and If You Tolerate This, Then Your Children Will
That's
Be
such
Next.
a classic song.
That's such a good song. That
Yeah.
album, yeah. So I just thought, I'm like, oh, this is from 98. So Dave produces this amazing album with Manic Street Preachers, this huge band.
Yeah.
And it's almost like he got off that high and he was like, all right, what am I going to do next?
Yeah.
And he, teams up with Idlewild and just creates this bit more polished album compared to their first one. Yeah. And it obviously worked. It worked really well.
It's a good album.
It is a good album.
Yeah, Little Discouraged. That's classic.
Oh my gosh, Little Discouraged is one of the singles.
Yeah.
And it did really well. It was commercially not bad for an indie album. It charted at number 6 in Scotland, which is pretty good. Idlewild are Scottish.
Yeah, their homeland.
Yeah, and number 15 in the UK, which for an indie band
Bad.
is not too bad. And Little Discouraged, which I think was their biggest single, and that might be the single that the Wedge played that got me into them.
I think I remember.
That's such a good song.
Yeah.
That peaked at number 12 in Scotland. Actually, It's Darkness peaked at number 23 in the UK. And critically, this album did quite well, not surprising. Pitchfork, Enemy, Select, all reviewed it pretty well. But Spin, they named it the number 1 album you didn't hear in 2000.
Oh,
which I thought was really cool.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Spin were cool back in the day.
Oh yeah, I used to like Spin.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm like, oh, I was cool like Spin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Idlewild and this album, it's a very interesting time, the year 2000. Like this album it's not really Britpop.
No.
And they were unique in that they were from Scotland. You kind of like, they showcase their Scottish identity in some of the lyrics. And often when I think of Scotland, you think of Travis.
Yes. Yeah, it's probably one of the biggest acts.
I would think so. And we're big fans of Travis, but Idlewild are very different from Travis.
Yeah, they don't sound alike at all.
No. But it wasn't really like post-grunge either. And it's just before the garage rock of the 2000s really took off.
Yeah.
Like, Is This It came out in 2001.
The White Stripes,
So-
they really
Exactly. Yeah.
made headlines in the early 2000s.
And so Idlewild are like in this unique kind of indie rock era. So if you were an indie rock kid, this just really spoke to you.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was, I listened to Kid A, Oasis, New Order. So this album always stuck out for me because this is like a hardcore album for an indie kid, right?
You think so?
Well, that's the thing. You're into like more punk stuff, so for you it wouldn't be.
Okay.
But for an indie kid that was into like the
I
Strokes,
can see though, like with songs like Little Discouraged or even like Rosability, I can kind of see the punk rock roots.
yeah,
No?
yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, Little Discouraged. I think that might be my favorite song off the album.
I like the Mirrors song. I forget.
Let Me Sleep Next to the Mirror. Yeah, that was a bit more mid-tempo. And their maturity really shows there. And I think after this, they came out in 2002 with the remote part, and that had You Held the World.
That one was
and
beady.
Modern Way of Letting Go, a lot more polished, and commercially,
Yeah.
that did really well.
Yeah.
The remote part.
One
It's
of
a good
my
album.
one of my favorite all time Idlewild songs is Love Steals Us from Loneliness. I think that came out. That might have been the album after that one you just mentioned.
Yeah, they do have quite a few albums. They
Yeah.
actually came out with an album in 2025.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
still kicking.
Yeah, they're still kicking.
Wow.
Yeah, I liked it. I gave it like one listen, so
Okay.
I did enjoy it. It's a bit, again, more polished and refined, but 100 Broken Windows is often noted as perhaps the best Idlewild album. I don't know if that's true. I do think the remote part's really good, but I think it's like just the rawness of it, their best like indie rock album.
Yeah.
And I just love how Spin named it the number one album you didn't hear in 2000.
Yeah, that's cute.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. So there you have it. Idlewild, 100 Broken Windows. I just wanted to give that a little bit of a highlight on this podcast because
Yeah.
it's a really amazing album. And if you don't know Idlewild, check them out. They are, I
Kind of a good hidden little gem.
they're a hidden little gem.
Yeah.
And so if you're into indie music, you may know them.
Oh yeah.
Because they do have a bit of a name for themselves. But if you don't, they're a little hidden gem.
Yeah.
I like how you said that, Katie.
Yeah.
And so check out 100 Broken Windows because listening to that again, I'm like this. It just takes you back to being 15
Oh, for
and
sure.
like rocking out. Such a
Yeah.
great album.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, I went down the rabbit hole of some Reddit threads, and Reddit gets really specific. Okay? And there were a few threads on Idlewild. If you're into indie rock and Idlewild, check them out. They're really good. A lot of Idlewild fans out there. And there was one comment which I just thought summed up, if you're an indie kid and you were into Idlewild, this sums it up so well. And I really connected with this person who commented, quote, very much a preferred band for the turn of the millennium teenage indie listener who was scared of metal but still wanted to mosh at gigs.
Okay.
Right? So that, as I was saying, as an indie kid, this was hardcore, and that's relative. And for someone like you that was into NoFX Distillers, this wasn't, right? You laugh at that. But for me,
laugh at it,
no, but you're like,
I know
what?
what you
This
mean.
isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for me, I was like, this was like hardcore. So really good album.
And this isn't Coldplay. What was their debut
no
album?
Parachutes. This is not Parachutes. No, it's
That was
not.
kind of the same era, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was like 99. Actually, Parachutes came out in 2000.
Okay.
So, no, definitely a different direction from Parachutes. And that's what makes them so unique, right? They didn't really sound like anybody at that time.
No.
So, very cool. So, thanks so much for listening. Let us know in the comments. Do you know Idlewild? If you do, does 100 Broken Windows bring it back for you as a teen if you're a millennial?
Yeah. And if you're a Canadian person and you remember the Wedge, please drop in the comments your memories of the Wedge. Who did the Wedge introduce you to? We should do an episode just on the Wedge.
Oh my gosh, that was such a great show.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks so much for listening. Katie and I really appreciate your time.
Yeah.
And we'll be back next week with a full episode.